Hi Gemini, welcome to Yellow Card No Tarot with me. My name is Carole and this is going to be a general reading for you for January 20th, 26. And if you're coming back to my channel again, I want to thank you and I hope you've subscribed to my channel, and I encourage you to help me out a bit. Also, if you're brand new, I want to welcome you and I'd like you to subscribe as well. So, your January reading, I was struggling with it. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And I was sitting with it, and then we had this storm last week here in Eastern Canada. It was a wild winter storm. It was quite windy, and it was every so often I would hear this noise. I thought, what's going on with my house? Sometimes I think there's a part that's going to blow away, and it got really, really noisy. And at one point, and I was sitting in the middle of my living room with my cat, and we're both kind of going, what is going on? It literally felt like a part of my house was getting torn, like it was pulling. And I was too scared to go outside, and it was too windy and cold, and I thought, you know what, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Anyway, so the next day I woke up, looked out the window at the back of my property. It's an acre property, so I just happened to see something in the back corner of the bathroom window, and this is what I saw. And it was just like, oh, I tried to deny it and say, oh, this is just a piece of snow. And it was just like, no, I know it's got to be part of my house. So I went and looked outside, and I noticed that there was a piece of my fascia missing on my house, and was like, okay, that's a piece of fascia. So I am a shamanic practitioner, and in the world of shamanism, everything is alive, and so I can connect with that piece of fascia. And so I went back, I brought my rattles, and I asked it, I said, why did you come off my house? What message do you have for me? And as I started to rattle, I heard, I couldn't stay there anymore. And so whenever I get a message, I apply it to my own life. And to me, that meant, this was near the end of 2025 when this was happening. And it meant, I was meant to move on. I had to move on. And so I really looked at what was going on with my life at the time, what I was working through. And it made a lot of sense to me that there was something that I had to let go of, maybe bring closure to, that I couldn't bring into 2026 with me. And then right away after that, I thought, oh, this is so cool. I can use this as my reading. Because oftentimes my readings are based on things that I'm working through myself, and I just bring it up on this channel. So I want to look at, first of all, what situation have you been in for too long, Gemini? And there's some closure that's needed. Maybe there's a relationship you need to end or bring some closure to, set some boundaries, mend. Something has to go on. Excuse me, maybe you've been sitting in some sort of health issue for too long. Maybe you're needing to finally deal with some big emotions that you've been blocking. Sorry, I have to take a drink here. Or you need to go no contact with somebody. You need to walk away from somebody. Maybe you're dealing with an addiction. Whatever it is, it's going to come up for me. And so I'm going to ask for that in the first part. I want to know what the situation is. Then I want to know what's blocking you from moving on. And so we're going to try to get to the core of this. And it's going to be something that happened to you when you were a child or as an adolescent. And it is what's preventing you from moving on. You have to heal this in order for you to move on. And then finally, we're going to look at a message from the tarot. And they're going to, maybe bring us more into a focus of what direction you can go in to start healing this. And then I'm going to offer you either a video or a playlist at the end. I'll suggest it for you. If I forget to do it, I'll still do it. But it'll be something that's taken from my other channel called Carole Cares. And it'll be like, you know, something to do with maybe journaling or grounding or emotions that how to journal from your emotions or how to process emotions or maybe specific emotions I talk about. And so I'll recommend that at the end. I'll also leave you with a spirit animal card from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck right here as a final little message for you. So I'm going to begin. I'm going to be using the Ehrenberg Tarot, and I'll clarify it with the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. So what situation has Gemini been in for too long? Can we have one card, please? Just one card. You have the Three of Swords in reverse. Already you can see there's something here that you've been sitting in for too long. What's blocking you from moving on? What's blocking you from moving on? What do you need to heal? What's coming up for healing for Gemini? Queen of Swords in reverse. Some advice from the tarot now. The Nine of Wands. All right, so we're going to start off. Oh, I'll do the pulling of this in a minute. We're going to start off with the Three of Swords. So it's in reverse, and so the Three of Swords, I mean, just look at this picture right here. You're sitting in a lot of pain. You're really agonizing over something. There's something that's very much been eating at you for a long time. And you know it has been. It's just, it's heavy weight. You've been carrying it around for too long. And so I want to know what this pain is. Can you tell me some more about this pain that Gemini's been carrying around for too long? You know, swords are a mental energy, so you're going to be really spinning around this a lot as well. It's something that you just are having a hard time letting go of. And so you have the Four of Wands and then the Devil card right behind it. So I can see how unbearable this pain is because you're wanting freedom for sure. You're wanting to escape this pain. But what you've done here is this Death card comes up, and when the Devil card, when the Devil card comes up, it speaks right away of an addiction of some sort. And so, I mean, the pain, often people will look at addictions and think that it's the addiction that's causing you the pain, but there's something underneath. So you have been numbing yourself out with some sort of an addiction, and only you know what it is. I don't think I have to go into what an addiction is because we all know what an addiction is. I've been cross-addicted. I've dealt with quite a few addictions throughout my entire life and through my healing. My biggest one is my overeating. That is my, I think we always sort of have one big addiction that's sort of a key one, and then we can have other ones. And so that's what I use to numb out when the pain just gets too much, right? And I know that if I go to the store and I end up buying a bunch of junk food or whatever, I'll convince myself that I haven't had them for a while, but it's like, you know, underneath I'll realize afterwards that, you know, there was a lot of pain that was coming up for me. And so your way of escaping whatever this pain is an addiction here. And so, you know, the universe is saying that it's time that you look at this, because this can't come with you anymore. It's almost like we get on this hamster wheel, right? This addiction, and we can't get off of it. But it's time now that you start to look at this pain right here. It's underneath. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I started, so I've been in intensive healing for 8.5 years with my own trauma coach from my complex PTSD. And when I started 8.5 years ago, I was very much into my eating. And I used to say to her all the time, well, what do I do about my addiction? I wanted her to cure my addiction. And she just kept saying to me, you know, let's just work on this. Let's just work on the trauma. Let's just keep working on this. And it was almost like it was there, but we didn't address that. We addressed all my problems, my issues, right? And eventually, it was almost like organically, it lost the effect that it had on me. Like the food wasn't as, like, it wasn't controlling me, right? I could control it, and I still, like, it's not anywhere near it was before. I mean, and I have to eat. It's not like you know, but all the other sort of little addictions that I would pick up all along the way, those I was like, okay, those are gone. But the eating one has always kind of been with me, only because that I have to eat. But it's my big one. So I get addictions because I've definitely been in them myself. But it's time now that you face this pain, right? This pain right here. And so what's blocking you from moving on? We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. And the Queen is the feminine side to us. We all have a feminine side and a masculine side. It has nothing to do with our gender. But this feminine, the quality that she has here is, well, you look at, she's got the sword here, and look at the look on her face. She's very determined. She knows who she is. She's got the sword of truth in her hand. That's the sword of authenticity. Who you were, your authentic self, is buried in your shadow. So that tells me that there's a lot of a pain. This pain that you have is around not being able to be you. Your true self has never been able to come out. And I'm going to give some more information on this your authenticity, and how your authenticity was taken away. Why is it sitting here in your shadow? You know? What was it about? Yeah, there's a couple cards right here. And the first one is Ten of Wands and the Tower card in reverse. So I'm going to say that the Ten of Wands talks about I'm going to say, I know you've had a very traumatic childhood already. This Wands tells me that you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot in your life. And the Tower card in reverse tells me that, I'm going to say that because you've been through so much in your life, that the Tower card is something that changes our direction, that takes us in a different direction. And that's how, whatever you went through when you were younger, the trauma, the chaos, the environment that you were raised in, that is what took your life on a different direction. And so your true authentic self couldn't come out. It was just not possible, because you were too busy trying to fight off what was going on, what was happening in your life when you were younger, and all those big emotions that were coming up, and all these traumatic incidents that would come up. You would have been too busy, and it would have been too difficult. There was no room for your authentic self to come up. You know? It just wasn't a safe place for you to be authentic. And that's what's come out. It just wasn't a safe place for you when you were younger to be yourself. It was taken away from you. Your childhood was taken away from you. So this is a sad reading. It's a very painful reading, you know, and a big part of it is my life. And it's a lot of people's lives, I think. But I think there's a real call for you now to get at this pain of, you know, what happened to you when you were younger? You know, how were you, what sort of things were you told? What sort of things happened to you that you just weren't allowed to be you? And you lost sense of who you are. And I think this reading is about, okay, let's get back to who you are. And And so the message from the universe here is that the first thing is there's some real self-care here that needs to take place. This is the Nine of Wands. And it's this individual that's been through a lot, the Nine of Wands. Maybe there's some boundaries that you need to set up with people right now that you're around. Maybe you're still with people that are repeating some patterns from when you were a child, right? And this is a real wounded person. And I think we have to come to that conclusion that, you know, we're wounded people. And he's just, you know, kind of lifting his bandage off his eye, going, you know what, do I really want to look at my stuff? Do I really want to look at my stuff? But I think it's time now that you know, pick up that bandage off your head and start to, you know what, I'm gonna start to heal here. Because, I mean, that's what our addictions are, is to numb us out so we don't have to. It really, I remember reading somewhere that addictions just buy us time. That's it. They buy us time. And we look back when we're caught up in our addictions and we just look at it and go, wow, I've just wasted so much time because we didn't want to look at our stuff. And so I need a couple more cards to talk about the Nine of Wands. And really, what is it saying? 2 more cards here for clarifiers. Yeah, that's a nice card to end with. So you got the King of Swords and the Strength card. The King of Swords, first of all. Now, I did say about the Queen that she's your feminine side. Well, here's your masculine side coming out. It's the King. It's your ego self. And it has the sword. And the reason why is because your ego self wants you to stay exactly where you are. It wants status quo. It doesn't want you to start to heal. It doesn't want you to look at your trauma. It doesn't want you to go into that direction of finding out who you really are, your authentic self. It has a sword here. It does not like authenticity. Our ego self is the one that puts all those masks on when it goes out into society, and it is the person, it bees the person that it thinks it is, right? But right now, I think you're being you're being asked to shed those masks, right? Shed this addiction. What have you been covering up all your life? And this ego self will continue to say, don't you dare go here. Don't go here. You're going into dangerous territory by trying to figure out who you really are. Stay where you are, you know. Stay in all those addictions. Because it thinks it's a real protective part, our ego. And it was there for us when we were a child. When you were going through all of this pain and chaos when you were younger, it was the part that protected you. And it does that. It pulls you out of your body when you're younger, and it puts you right up in your mind, because there's no emotions here in your mind. They're all in your body. And so as an adult, when these emotions start to creep up and, you know, we need to heal them from our childhood, well, your ego self will go, no, don't do that. Push them back down. And then that's why we like to numb out on addictions, because we don't want to feel them, right? And so you beware of that ego self and what sort of things it's telling you. But you end with a beautiful card. You end with the Strength card. And this is a card, it's not talking about physical strength. It's the card of being able to open that lion's mouth, or open that Pandora's box of emotions, right? That's what addictions do. They numb out our emotions. And it's saying you have the inner strength. Gemini, you have the inner strength to open that Pandora's box now and to start to feel those emotions that you have been numbing out for so long now. I'm going to leave you with a playlist on addictions. I did a couple of videos on those years back, and they're very good. Talk about your addictions. And then I'm going to leave you with a spirit animal for you. I think it was that one. Wow. You have the spider. The spider spirit. Make your dreams real. Weaving your dreams into the fabric of life begins with a single thread of intention, and then spirit joins as your co-weaving partner. Take but a single step to make your dream a reality, and spirit will take 10 towards you. For the universe is designed to support your dream weaving. Spider spirit arrives when you need reminding of the awesome power of co-creation with spirit. Ideas and resources will begin to appear as if by magic as you begin to bring your dreams from the realm of intention into the world of the senses where they take form. So be clear about your intentions and then act as if you have become the one that lives the life you desire. Another message of spider spirit is about a creative project you may be considering. Maybe you want to write, maybe paint, maybe something to do with music, journaling, gardening. Now's the time when inspiration wants to be channeled through you. So that's really powerful because maybe there's some calling there for you to, maybe there's something you've always wanted to do, and put the attention out in the universe that that's what you want to do and you need help with this. So I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through, Gemini. This is a very difficult journey, the healing journey, but it's the most important one in your life. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.